Hello guys, welcome to the Android Classroom. So as you all know, we are creating our Flutter application using Firebase Backend. So today we are going to log in our user using Firebase Authentication. So we are going to use user's email and password to log him in or register him. So let's start. So before starting, we need to add Firebase Authentication dependency in our Flutter project. So let's just add it quickly. Just go and search, open Google and search Firebase Auth Flutter, and we can just open this pub.dev website of Flutter's official doc, and let's just install this dependency. Copy it from here and paste it on pubsec.yaml file under dependencies. So we have pasted it. Now let's just save it so that our ID gets all the packages. So there was an error in my alignment. Okay, so it has downloaded the authentication package. Now we can start doing our task. But before creating any UI, I want to add another dependency of Flutter, which is called scoped model. Why I'm adding this, I will tell you in this lecture. Let's just search scope model Flutter, and let's just add this dependency into our pubspec.yaml file. Okay guys, so I've added this scope model dependency, and you all must be wondering why I'm using a scope model, but believe me, this dependency will make our task so much easier in authenticating our Firebase user. Okay, so just let's get started and write some Flutter codes. So let's just delete this null and return a material app. Now this will have this home widget. Let's create a home, and the home widget will be, let's just create some folders in our lib folder, pages, and let's add our auth page, new file, and it will be auth.dart. Let's create it, auth page, stateless widget. Actually it will be a stateful widget, not a stateless widget. Let's just create a state. Okay, so we have created our auth page. Let's just add it here. Okay, it's done. Now in our auth page, let's create a state of our auth page. It's going to extend state of auth page. Now let's return a build method. Okay guys, so let's just create our login page, I mean a login form, in which we will have an email input field, a tag input field, and a button to log in the user or register him. So let's just start creating it. So let's just delete this null and add a scaffold widget here. This scaffold widget will have an app bar, which will have an app bar, contain a title will be a text will be log in. Okay, now we'll have a body, and body will be a container, which will surely have a child, and this child will be a form, which will also have a child, and that child will be a list view. Let's add it. Okay, and this will have a children widgets. Okay, let me just align them. This form will also have one more very special element which will help us to validate our text fields, which will be a global key. And how it will validate, I will show you. Let me just create a type of form field and let's just name it underscore key. Whenever you want to make any variable in Flutter private, just add underscore before that variable and it will be okay. I think the form, sorry, it will be form state. I just made form field. Okay, so just add this key in our form widget. Key equals to underscore key. Now this key won't be accessible from outside this class because it's a private variable, member variable. Okay, now let's add our email input field, password input field, and a button. So let's just create methods for this input field because it will be so much hodgepodge if we just add so much widgets in single tree, in singleton line, or I can say statement. So let's just add methods to make our code look much prettier and readable. So let's just create a method which will return us a widget, and this widget name will be email input widget. It's going to return surely a text input widget, text form field. Text form field. This text form field will have a controller. So let's just create a controller of email input field. It will also be a member variable. So let's just create a text editing controller. It will help us to get the text from the email. So let's just name it email controller. It's also a private variable because I have added underscore before the variable name. This is something I like about the Dart. Okay, now let's just assign it here, email text controller. Okay, now let's just add some decoration, some label text into our text. Let's just call input decoration and label text, and this will be a string, and each string will be email. Okay, now let's add some keyboard type, like it should defaultly show email address keyboard. Whenever a user clicks on this input field, the keyboard which will show underscore and .com should appear. So let's just call input type, and it will be input type text input type dot email address. Last thing in our widget is validate. What this will do, let me show you by writing. You will understand what it's going to do. As its name suggests, it's going to validate our email that it is typed, it is not empty. So how it will validate? We'll just add a if check here. If value dot is empty, means whatever we have written in the email input field is empty, then just return email is required. So if the user clicks on the button and he has not written any text on the email field, then this error will appear on this input field. Okay, so let's just copy it to be quick and paste it. Okay, there's something missing. We need to add a semicolon. Let's just copy it and paste it here for our password field, but we need to change some things. Firstly, let's change its name. It will be password input field, input widget to be precise. Now let's change it to visible password, and let's change this text label to password. And the most important, this controller, that let me just change this error message. You can also check if the password length is 8 or not, but for this tutorial I'm not going to check it because it will take much time. So let's just just check it if it is empty or not. Now let me just go to email controller and create another text editing controller, text editing controller underscore password controller equals to text editing controller. Okay, let's just scroll down and just make it password controller. Okay, so our input fields are ready. Now let's just create a button to sign up the user. So we'll add a widget, sign up widget, and now let's just return a raise button which will have a child text which will say sign up, and it will going to have an on press method. For now I'm just adding a blank method, but here will all the logic will happen. We'll check if the email and text, we are going to log in the user here on press login for register. Let's just add some designing to our button by adding color, and color will be colors, just use the theme data, theme dot of context dot, let's use primary color, and let's add the text color to be white. It will look much pretty. Okay, now let's just copy this method, and as we did on password, just add it below here and rename it to login widget, and just change this sign up to sign in. Everything same. Now let's add these widgets into our list view where we'll be showing these widgets in our form. So let's first just add this email input field, comma, and then we will going to add a size box of 10. So it will just take a 10 pixels empty space so that our form look a bit pretty. Now let's add password widget, again add a size box to make it look clear and pretty. Let's add our login button widget. I'm sorry, I need to provide height. I just forget to add. And again size box, let's just create it. Okay, let's just add a height box above too, so that our email doesn't go so up, just touching the toolbar. It will look a bit crap. Now the last, add our sign up widget. Okay, I didn't add a comma. Okay, so our auth page is ready to execute. Now on the next lecture, we will use Firebase authentication and scope model to log our user in.